A very good morning to all of you. So starting with the analysis video for 3rd of September 2023, we see that Aditya L1 it lifts off to study the sun. So इसके बारे में हम daily discuss करते आ रहे थे, all the nitty-gritties around it. So you can go through this particular article and the previous videos as well. So liquid apogee motor है L1 point पे इसको put किया जाएगा तो वहाँ पे again क्या benefits हैं and why do we want to put it at L1 point? उसके अलावा और जो बाकी टेक्निकल डिटेल्स हैं anomalies जो related to the sun उसको स्टडी करने के लिए उसमें भी हमने स्पेसिफिक डिटेल्स कवर करी है. तो अब यहाँ पे आप देख सकते हो an advertisement related to unrefined cold pressed oils. तो इसके क्या बेनिफिट्स होते हैं आपको ये पता होना इम्पोर्टेंट है. यहाँ पे हम टॉकिंग अबाउट दिस पर्टिकुलर एडवर्टाइजमेंट. So it's an organic product. It is nutrient rich and better for the health. There is no chemical processing involved. And again, it has been tested for 186 pesticides. So uske alawa you'll just search and find out the benefits of it. So snake boats, you can see it's a tradition in the state of Kerala. These are also known as paleodons. These are called the snake boats because of their shape. So basically, this is a kind of a boat race which is done for the Mannam Trophy. So India is also going to be part of the implementation of the Zelensky's peace formula. When we're talking about the Russia-Ukraine war, so again, peace efforts की जब हम बात करें तो this is one of the ways. So इसमें India भी participate करेगा. India will also contribute in this. So basically it is a 10-point peace formula which has been proposed by Ukraine's president and it is still a work in progress. So they are saying, again, Ukraine is saying we motivate India to participate in this post-war reconstruction of Ukraine. So it is not only in humanitarian component, but also business to business, which is mutually beneficial as well. So these are going to be some of the possible areas where India can contribute in terms of reconstruction of Ukraine after this war. So we are seeing key drug trade, it is intensifying in Kashmir at the same time when we're talking about the fight against it. So from mosques to classrooms, the fight against drug addiction amongst the youth intensifies in Kashmir. And then इसके अलावा पंजाब की भी हमने बात करी कि हाँ वहाँ पे भी कैसे लोकल लेवल पे कम्युनिटी पार्टिसिपेशन की वजह से हमें we are actually seeing results at the ground level in terms of improvement. So drug de-addiction and rehabilitation centers बनाए जा रहे हैं and again schools को भी इस चीज में include किया जा रहा है. So according to a study, जो 3/4 of India के irrigation sources हैं, they are run on electricity. So 3/4 you can see. Electrification of groundwater withdrawal, it corresponds to rise in the use of tube wells और bore wells के ऊपर ज़्यादा dependence increase हो रही है. And obviously जब water withdraw करने की बात आती है इनमें से तो we need electricity motors use होती है. So they are capable of extracting water at greater depths. So जो number of ponds हैं वो decline हुई है as a source of irrigation. And this is over a time period of 4 years. So कहीं ना कहीं this is indicating कि जो extraction of groundwater that has been increasing with time. अब बात कर सकते हो कि जो again this is an indication of water stress, water crisis, and इसके अलावा recharge of groundwater अब हम कैसे ensure कर सकते हैं, because again इस चीज को हम long term basis पे sustain नहीं कर पाएंगे. So Pragyan, it has completed the task and rover safely parked and it is set into sleep mode. This is the update regarding the Chandrayaan 3 mission. And this is the trajectory that it is followed. इसके अलावा जो हमें results मिल रहे थे daily basis पे discovery of sulfur, and then we also talked about the temperature variation on the surface and in depth of the lunar surface. So सारी चीजें we were covering up as we were getting these updates in the form of articles. So UNDP says कि over half of the Sri Lankan people, they are vulnerable. So we know about the economic crisis that Sri Lanka is going through. उसकी वजह से obviously political instability भी हमें देखने को मिली. उसके पीछे के reasons हमने देखे. जब हम local level पे बात करते हैं safety of the people, so again over half of their population is vulnerable. तो यहाँ पे भी अगेन इंडिया कैसे इंपॉर्टेंट रोल प्ले कर सकता है एंड सो फार इंडिया की क्या कॉन्ट्रीब्यूशंस रहे हैं in terms of the developmental efforts taken by India and Sri Lanka. So cells with minimal genome, they can evolve as fast as normal cells. So over 300 days is a cell modified to have a bare minimum genome regained all the fitness it had lost due to the modification, and it could perform as well as its non-minimized counterpart as well. So evolution of cell size ke yahan pe the main topic is that. So genome minimization, it was accompanied by a 31% decrease in the cell size. This is talking about left, the A panel here you can see. And red and blue lines connect the mean values of the minimal and non-minimal populations. So right is scanning the electron micrographs of the evolved replicate populations of the non-minimal and minimal cells. So non-minimal and minimal cells, here you can see, this is the scanning that we've seen and can see through this graph. So cell diameter कैसे change हुआ, increase हुआ, basically non-minimal cells में ज़्यादा हुआ है compared to the minimal cells. So this was the ancestors जहाँ से start किया था, and this is the evolved cell stage. So what is this process of Atlantification and what drives this process of Atlantification in the Arctic seas? So warm waters जो हैं from the Atlantic Ocean, they have been diverted into the Arctic Ocean recent years. इस phenomena को हम बोलते हैं Atlantification, and इसकी वजह से again it has disturbed the ocean stratification Arctic area में, and it has also caused heat fluxes that help melt the sea ice. So इसकी वजह से melting of ice का जो pace है वो और increase हो गया, and इसकी वजह से again Arctic dipole, this is also has been affected because of this, and it is a pattern which is associated with the anticyclonic winds over North America and cyclonic winds over Eurasia. They affect the inflow of water from the northern Atlantic through the Fram Strait. So इस area में जो नॉर्थ पोल के टुवर्ड्स स्ट्रेट्स लोकेटेड हैं, वो आपको पता होना इंपॉर्टेंट है, सो यू नीड टू लोकेट देम ऑन द मैप एज वेल. So again, application of artificial intelligence healthcare में बात करें, that too specifically in terms of detecting TB cases, तो we can basically use artificial intelligence on X-rays to better detect the TB cases. So this is one of the important applications of it. बाकी आपको diverse applications भी बताना important है. So India की क्या importance है in global trade? And आने वाले time में it is expected to rise. So world has learned the lessons from over dependence on China, and again इसकी वजह से countries they are diversifying different markets and they're not basically trying to remain dependent upon or over dependent upon China. So here in India's role also became important. So how far has globalization evolved from your days in India? So here we're seeing the interview of Arun Kumar sir, and he is a former US Assistant Commerce Secretary. So how far has globalization evolved from his days in India? So अभी बात इंडिया की हो रही है, तो he says कि his first real job was in Mumbai when he was at Tata Administrative Service. And उस time पे India was a closed economy and foreign collaborations उस time पे करना difficult था. So he's talking about his experience that he had to do a number of visits. So even again उस time पे भी MIT जो था USA की भी बात करें, वो भी इतना international नहीं था during the beginning of his tenure. So बहुत सारे आज के टाइम अगर हम बात करें जो यूएस बिजनेस स्कूल्स है, दे आर लेड बाय द इंडियन ओरिजिन एकेडमिक्स. एंड पोस्ट वर्ल्ड वॉर टू अगर हम बात करें, इंटरनेशनल सिस्टम ने भी अनेबल किया है इंक्रीज्ड ग्लोबल इंटीग्रेशन ऑफ ट्रेड. सो चाइना ने ज्वाइन किया ग्लोबल इकोनॉमी को 1976 में एंड मोर डिसाइसिवली आफ्टर 1990. सो उसके बाद अगर हम बात करें सिंस 2016 वी हैव सीन राइज ऑफ प्रोटेक्शनिस्ट पॉलिसीज बहुत सारी कंट्रीज में इंक्लूडिंग यूएस एंड इंडिया एज वेल. So this is again seeing a shift towards protectionist policies. And फिर यहाँ पे हम ये भी बात करते हैं कि reglobalization का क्या idea है when we talk about reglobalization. Then apart from this, problems that the global value chains they are facing. So globalization, it has driven competitiveness and each country plays to its strengths, and this globalization इस चीज ने इसको प्रमोट किया है. म्यूचुअल इंटरडिपेंडेंस प्रमोट हुई है बिकॉज ऑफ कॉम्पिटिटिवनेस एंड कंट्रीज डिफरेंट कंट्रीज को जो स्ट्रेंथ्स हैं उस चीज को हम यूटिलाइज कर पाए हैं. सो ओवर टाइम हमने देखा है कि चाइना with an intense focus on exports, it was supported by the foreign direct investments and जो technology transfers हुए from the west to China, उसकी वजह से China became a major factor in the global trade. So आज के time में China controls around 25% of the manufacturing worldwide. So you can see कि इतना ज़्यादा share सिर्फ एक ही country के ऊपर concentrated है. So concentration of so much of manufacturing power in one country, उसकी वजह से हमने देखा कोविड-19 टाइम पीरियड में स्पेसिफिकली हमें समझ में आया कि ओवर डिपेंडेंस कितना रिस्की हो सकता है. So the science behind Neeraj Chopra's skills are the success of the ace javeliner is a combination of biochemical principles honed to the hilt, a deep understanding of the creation and transfer of the forces within the human body, natural gift that he has taken advantage of, and an ability to flourish on the big stage. So in a way, this is the entire summary, the science behind that. So यहाँ पे again is mentioning about his grip, his run up, crossover. So in detail, this is mentioning. And then his details about his exercise skills are also there. So he's among the elite. So the chart depicts the percentage of throws that were equal to or above particular mark. So for instance, जो 19% of all the throws थे from 1986, they were 85 meters or above. So only 3% of ऐसे throwers हैं which were equal to or above 89 meters, and Neeraj Chopra's best throw is at 89.94 meters. That has been matched or surpassed by only 3% of the time since 1986. So it speaks a lot about his skills, his strength, and the hard work that he has put into it. So physics of a perfect launch, right angle, then 3 directions, aerodynamic force क्या होता है, क्या जो यहाँ से आप पिक कर सकते हो एग्जामिनेशन के लिए important topics, वो आपको पता होना चाहिए, and you can just go through the explanation. Coming to Financial Express newspaper. So India's sunshine moment, you can see launching of Aditya L1 mission, launched by PSLV rocket from Sriharikota in Andhra Pradesh. तो आपको exact location भी पता होनी चाहिए Sriharikota की, and then surrounding water bodies around it, क्योंकि इन lines पर already prelims में questions आ चुके हैं, तो आपको पता होना चाहिए. अब जब आप बात कर रहे हो तो श्रीहरिकोटा की बात कर रहे हो तो आपको पूरे सराउंडिंग एरियाज की ज्योग्राफी की आप बात करो, एग्जैक्ट लोकेशन की आप बात करो, रिवर की आप बात करो जो फ्लो करती हैं, लेक्स अगर कोई लोकेटेड है तो वो पता होना इम्पोर्टेंट है. तो चाइनीज ग्लास के इम्पोर्ट्स के ऊपर गवर्नमेंट माइट इम्पोज एंटी डंपिंग ड्यूटी. तो यू नीड टू बी जस्ट क्लियर विद द आइडिया ऑफ एंटी डंपिंग ड्यूटी होती क्या है. तो एंटी डंपिंग ड्यूटी बेसिकली तब इम्पोज की जाती है बाय एन इम्पोर्टिंग कंट्री, अगर ये देखा जाए या ये पता चलता है कि सपोज जिस कंट्री से हम इंपोर्ट कर रहे हैं वहां पे जो उस प्रोडक्ट को डोमेस्टिक मार्केट में सेल कर रहे हैं और जिस प्राइस पे उस प्रोडक्ट को हमें एक्सपोर्ट किया जा रहा है वो प्राइस डोमेस्टिक मार्केट प्राइस से भी लोअर प्राइस पे हमें बेचा जा रहा है, तो कहीं ना कहीं ये बोला जाता है कि इट इज बीइंग डम्प्ड टू दैट पर्टिकुलर कंट्री. तो इसलिए इंपोर्टिंग कंट्री है जो एंटी डंपिंग ड्यूटी को इम्पोज करते हैं. So red tag for Venice, it is added to the UNESCO's list of World Heritage in Danger. Because यहाँ पे अगर आप बात करो transportation की, तो they are not having roads, they have to communicate through boats. So because of increase in sea level, it is being believed that this entire city would submerge. So UN agency says that Italian city faces irreversible damage from the effects of climate crisis, especially 2019 की जो flooding देखी गई and mass tourism जो वहाँ पे देखा जा रहा है. So this is the second time after 1987 that Venice is under this threat. So apart from Venice, अगर हम बाकी locations की बात करें तो agency it has recommended Odessa, which is in Ukraine. It is a town of Timbuktu in Mali and several sites in Syria, Iraq, and Libya, and as well as cities of Kyiv and Lviv in Ukraine to be put on the danger list. So क्या जो coastal areas में cities हैं वहाँ पे danger increase हो रहा है, the threat is increasing. एंड इसके साथ ऑब्वियसली द सिटी एवरीथिंग, आप कल्चर की बात करो, हिस्ट्री की बात करो, एंड पीपल, देयर लाइवलीहुड्स, एवरीथिंग विल just vanish. Then apart from this, Bamiyan Valley, Afghanistan में है. This was also added to the list of World Heritage in Danger in 2003 for suffering from abandonment, military action और जो dynamite explosions देखे गए. Historic town of Zabid, Yemen में जो located है, it has deteriorated with 40% of original houses being replaced by concrete buildings. सो इंडिया की अगर हम बात करें, अगर यूएन एजेंसी ने इंडिया को टैग नहीं किया तो इसका मतलब ये नहीं है कि इंडिया के ऊपर कोई इफेक्ट नहीं है। इंडिया में हम देख रहे हैं लैंडस्लाइड्स, फ्लडिंग, रेन, फ्लैश फ्लड्स, मैन मेड कंस्ट्रक्शन, इसकी वजह से वी आर सीइंग कि स्पेसिफिकली हिली स्टेट्स लाइक हिमाचल प्रदेश, उत्तराखंड में, दिल्ली एनसीआर रीजन में हमें ये चीजें देखने को मिल रही हैं, एंड दैट टू एट इंक्रीज्ड स्केल, हायर इंटेंसिटी, हायर फ्रीक्वेंसी। सो ब्लेम इज ऑन द रोड अलाइनमेंट, या आप टनल कंस्ट्रक्शन की बात करो, सिटीज इन नॉर्दर्न इंडिया में दे आर थ्रेटेंड बाय द वार्मिंग टेम्परेचर एज वेल एज अनप्रिडिक्टेबल इफेक्ट्स ऑफ क्लाइमेट चेंज एंड मास टूरिज्म। तो मास टूरिज्म और क्लाइमेट चेंज दोनों के अनप्रिडिक्टेबल इफेक्ट्स हो सकते हैं, एंड सिंस जो अनप्रिडिक्टेबिलिटी वाला एलिमेंट इंक्रीज हो रहा है तो रिस्क और ज्यादा इंक्रीज हो रहा है इसके साथ के साथ। So here we have the US ambassador to India. So he says that we really like each other and we need each other. So the world needs us to like each other and work together. So he's speaking on India-US strategic partnership, how that is important to the world as well, and how the relationship is wrongly over-reduced to China and pushback from Indian government on the subject of democracy and minority rights. तो कुछ issues भी हैं, कुछ again tensions भी हैं दोनों countries के बीच में. So he says कि when you have a war, you sometimes need friends of aggressors to help let them know how the war needs to end. Then US can't go to Russia as a friend today, but countries like India who keep better relations right now, they can play that role. And for many countries, there's a suspicion and legacy of colonialism. There are a lot of headwinds, but he says, I think if there's one place where there are tailwinds, it is here with the US-India trade relationship. Says that apart from this, we need to learn to not preach. There was conscious paternalism of talking down to India. So Americans did think that India is this country only in need of aid and development. That's not the India of today. So this was a thinking before, but today obviously things have changed. So we are seeing India में अगर हम बात करें income inequality की, तो bottom 50% जो population है, it earns only 13% of the nation's income and owns only 3% of the nation's wealth. So how could all Indians be rich? So leaders of the world's 20 largest economies, they will be here to take a close look at India and its economy. And the author, speech Tamram sir, says that I wish we would take a closer look at ourselves. Says ki jo propaganda and the hype surrounding the forthcoming G20 meeting, it would have reached a crescendo. And says ki I am happy ki India is hosting the G20 summit this year, but it is wise to be more modest about this event and the outcome. So GDP doubling की अगर हम बात करें, इंडिया की परफॉर्मेंस यहाँ बात की जा रही है. Since 1991, तो only few countries they have been able to double their GDP in constant prices roughly every 10 years. तो यहाँ पे अगर हम देखें 1991 से 25 lakh crores with the GDP, 2013-14 में it was 100 lakh crore rupees. So despite a sound start in 2014-15, we see GDP, it will not double by 2023-24, and this will be a wasted opportunity. So reason is कि जो हमारा average rate of growth है during the last 9 years, since 2014, it has only been 5.7% against the 7.5% in the basically 10 years before 2014. So हमारा जो again average GDP growth rate number है वो decline हो गया from 7.5% to 5.7%. And since 2014 अगर हम poverty elevation की बात करें तो we have been able to lift 415 million people out of the poverty, yet 230 million people, they are still poor. So despite this key poverty, it has been at the lower level. जो personal consumption है of rupees 1286 per month in the urban areas and rupees 1089 per month in rural areas. This is there, and we have the scientific skills to land a probe on the moon. बात करते हैं लूनर मिशन की, सोलर मिशन की, एंड दूसरी साइड अगर हम बात करें चिल्ड्रन इन क्लास 8, सिर्फ 30%, मतलब 30% of the students, they cannot read class 12 second textbook, and 55% they cannot even do a simple multiplication or division sum. So the taste of our development is bitter sweet. मतलब एक साइड पे जो सक्सेस एसोसिएट करते हैं विद दिस लूनर प्रोब, एंड दूसरी साइड आप ये देख रहे हो कि लोकल लेवल पे बिल्कुल प्रैक्टिकल अगर एलिमेंट्स हम देख रहे हैं कि स्कूल के बच्चे जो क्लास 8 के स्टूडेंट्स है 30% उनमें से क्लास सेकेंड की टेक्स्ट बुक भी नहीं रीड कर पाते हैं. तो अगेन वी कैन से कि देयर इज पैराडॉक्स जो एग्जिस्ट करते हैं. इकोनॉमिक वरीज की अगर हम बात करें तो G20 अगर हम ग्लोबल लेवल पे बात करें तो दे आर वरीड अबाउट द वर्ल्ड्स इकोनॉमी. सो ऑल इकोनॉमीज दे आर एग्रीइंग की जो ग्रोथ है it is a tide that lifts nearly all the boats. So says we have seen कैसे economic prosperity it has civilized even the behavior of the people also, and public conduct their language of common discourse. Okay, coming to Indian Express. So government ने notify किया है one nation one election panel, and lone opposition name is Adhir withdraws, calls it eyewash. So opposition जो timing है of discussion again surrounding the simultaneous elections उसको question किया जा रहा है, और ये बोला जा रहा है कि जो terms of reference हैं they are prepared to guarantee the conclusions. So these are the panel members जो बनाए गए हैं to in order to assess feasibility of simultaneous elections in India. So these are the members of the committee. So key task क्या है committee को जो examine करनी है, that is proposed amendments to the constitution and examine if these would need ratification by states or not. तो एक ये aspect है कि constitution में क्या amendments required है, ये हमने कल बात करी थी, and then also examine the modalities of using single electoral roll and voter ID. And third task is to examine logistical challenges जो हैं and manpower required, including EVMs and VVPATs, and also the deployment of the security personnel as well. So again in detail यहाँ पे mention किया गया the panel members जो study करेंगे one nation one election. We've been talking about their works and contributions. So we've already gone through this article in Financial Express, so it's a repeat. So Israel, we are seeing clashes. Again, the situation is not that stable. Over 100 people have been injured in Eritrean clashes. And this is Tel Aviv, so we are getting the pictures. So now you need to, again, know the location of Eritrea as well. उज्ज्वला स्कीम के बारे में आपको सारे फीचर्स पता होने चाहिए। तो अभी रिसेंटली प्राइस कट किए गए थे बाय ₹200 एंड उज्ज्वला जो स्कीम का एक्सपेंशन अगर किया जाएगा तो इट वुड बी कॉस्टिंग अराउंड ₹37,000 crore एनुअली। तो यहाँ पे अगेन ये टाइप ऑफ रेवेन्यू एक्सपेंडिचर है विच इज इन द फॉर्म ऑफ सब्सिडी। सो यहाँ पे अगेन हम बात करते हैं ब्रॉडर टॉपिक्स। अगर हम इसको कनेक्ट करें, दैट वुड बी रैशनलाइजेशन ऑफ रेवेन्यू एक्सपेंडिचर दैट वुड बी रिक्वायर्ड इन टर्म्स ऑफ फिस्कल मैनेजमेंट। तो उसको आप देन फर्दर कनेक्ट कर सकते हो विद द प्रोविजंस इन द फीचर्स ऑफ द FRBM एक्ट। So Jet Airways के founder again Naresh Goyal has been arrested by ED. So his story from rags to riches and then to grounding. सो लॉजिस्टिक्स पॉलिसी के अराउंड सेंटर ने स्टेट्स को बोला है कि अगेन हर स्टेट को एक लॉजिस्टिक्स पॉलिसी बनानी चाहिए। सो दे नीड टू वर्क अपॉन दिस एज ये ईज ऑफ डूइंग बिजनेस को प्रमोट करेगा एंड कॉमर्स एंड इंडस्ट्री मिनिस्ट्री हैज सेड दिस थिंग। सो इट वाज आल्सो सजेस्टेड कि स्टेट्स दे नीड टू इंटीग्रेट क्वालिटी डेटा ऑन द पोर्टल फॉर द स्टेट मास्टर प्लान फॉर वाइडर adoption of PM Gati Shakti initiative. So integrating quality data and having a logistics policy at the state level एंड इससे अगेन जो PM गति शक्ति इनिशिएटिव है उसको और बूस्ट मिलेगा, ईज ऑफ डूइंग को और ज्यादा बूस्ट मिलेगा। दिस वुड बी अट्रैक्टिंग मोर FDI इन डिफरेंट स्टेट्स एंड साथ ही साथ ये जो स्टेट वाइज भी जो रीजनल वेरिएशन है इन टर्म्स ऑफ अट्रैक्टिंग FDI उसको भी कहीं ना कहीं कम करने में हेल्प करेगा, जो गैप जो इनइक्वालिटी वेरिएशंस एग्जिस्ट करते हैं। So that's all for the day. Thank you so much for joining us. Since it's Sunday, so we have limited number of articles for the day. And do subscribe to the channel and keep watching.